And then he kind of looks and he's like, where's the other check for the painting? And we're like, buddy, we don't have any money from the painting. She did not pay us. You know, most of my good stories come from back in the early days of the company I was with, back when we had a lot of wiggle room to kind of do whatever we wanted. And I remember this one job we had, it was one of the biggest ones that I personally had sold. I think it was maybe like a $30,000 roof. And there was also on the job, I think, somewhere in the realm of $2,000 to $3,000 of extra work, some woodwork outside the house, and then there was some painting on the ceilings from the different water stains that the water had damaged from the storms. And so, you know, as a smaller company, obviously we're trying to make as much money as possible. You know, we're trying to tell the customers, hey, we'll do it. You know, we'll just get a sub to do it for us. You know, we want to be the company that kind of just one-stop shop is able to solve all the problems for you. And so this was, you know, in the early days of the company, so we had to kind of call different subs, and whoever was available we would use. And we had this one sub at the time. This guy was named Edgar, and you know, just imagine a short, maybe 5'5", really stubby, stocky guy, and you know, but he was really good at his work. But sometimes, if Edgar knew there was a lot of money on a job, he would maybe try and cut corners so that he could obviously keep as much money as possible. And, you know, I don't know the guy's financial situation. Maybe he needed the money. But on this particular job, he had around, I want to say, somewhere between $2,000 and $3,000, like I said, to work with. And the woodwork was really easy, but there was 3 whole rooms inside the house that had to be painted top and on the walls on the side as well. So ceiling and walls. And the ceiling was obviously the worst spot because that's where most of the water is coming in. And we told him, you know, hey, you gotta paint this whole room. And he was like, okay, I got it, I'll handle it. And so boom, we kind of let him do his thing. We had the guys. We actually scheduled this on the same day we were putting the roof on. So, you know, I got my supervisor out there with me. We're watching the roof, making sure the guys are doing a good job. It's a big roof, and he comes out, I want to say a few hours later. This was probably, I think he showed up late, maybe like noon, and this was maybe like 4 o'clock. And he's like, okay, I'm done. And he had already done the woodwork outside the house too. And I was like, oh, that was a little fast. And so I get a call. I was, you know, leaving shortly thereafter. I get a call from the homeowner not even 30 minutes later. And she had come home and she's like, hey, I got your guys here with me. I stopped them before they left because I noticed they didn't finish the job. And I was really confused. I was like, you know, I left about an hour ago. You know, they told me they had finished. And she was like, no, she's like, remember how I told you, you know, they're supposed to paint the entire room just like the insurance company paid for? And I was like, yeah. And she's like, well, they spot painted it. And I was like, oh goodness. And she was like, I actually used to be an adjuster. She said, I know the difference between a spot paint and a complete whole repaint of a room. And I was like, goodness. And I'm thinking in the back of my head, you know, this lady, she's very nice, and I've had a lot of conversations with her. She's probably right. You know, she's not a dumb lady. And so I showed, you know, drive all the way back from what I was doing, came back to the job, take a look at it. Sure enough, the guys had spot painted it. And I got Edgar there, and he was trying to lie his way through it, man. He was like, no, he's like, I promise you I painted it. I don't know why it looks like that, man. And I was just like, dude, come on, like we're a lot better than this. And so it was getting late, and she was like, you know what? She's like, I don't like that your guy's lying to us here. She's like, I can see it. You've told me you can see it. She's like, y'all just go home, you know, call me in the morning, and we'll kind of figure this out. And so I called her the next day, you know, profusely apologizing. I even got my manager on the phone, had him apologizing, and she was like, look, she's like, I respect you guys. You know, y'all did a great job on the roof, but she's like, I just kind of want to deal with this myself. And I mean, that was not necessarily what we wanted to hear, because that was about $3,000 worth of stuff that we had done for her. And obviously we were still going to have to pay our guys for what they actually did do. And so, we were just like, you know what, we're early days of the company, whatever we can do to get a 5-star review, we're going to do. So we told her, you know what, that's okay. Keep the money. We'd love to, still get a good review from you and everything. And so she ended up being happy. I'm sure she got somebody else to kind of finish the painting job for her. But Edgar came in the office and he came in to get paid, and we handed him a check for the woodwork that he did, because he did do the wood. And then he kind of looks and he's like, where's the other check for the painting? And we're like, buddy, we don't have any money from the painting. She did not pay us. And he's sitting in our office. He's like, my friend, I have gas and loans and food I have to pay for. And I said, buddy, we do too. We're just as mad about this as you are. And he was not having it, and ended up not ever using Edgar again after that. So moral of the story, always make sure you're using good subs, and always make sure, even if you are using good subs who know what they do, that they're not cutting corners and they're actually doing the job properly. So that's all I got today, guys. Thanks for watching.